All right, so here's the scenario. You got a multifamily property, you've looked at it, you see it, you like it, but how do you know if you should actually invest in it or not? So let's go ahead and talk about it right now. When it comes to buying a multifamily property, I only buy real estate for one reason and one reason alone, and that is cash flow. Right, on a monthly basis, does that property put money in your pocket? Now, there's two ways that you're going to want to evaluate that. The first way is day one, as you buy it, how much cash flow comes in. So the way you determine that is you're going to get some information from the seller. They're going to tell you how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. And that's going to be done with two things: a rent roll, where they're going to give you a list of all the tenants and all the rents there, and you're going to want to get a T12, which is just a short term for trailing 12, where they give you the last year's worth of financials on this property. You're going to look at that and you're going to see how much expected cash flow is going to come in on a monthly basis. How do you feel about that number, right? Is that number strong, or is that number weak? And you're going to also need to determine that by how much you're buying it for. So every property works at some price, but at some price it just doesn't work because that cash flow isn't going to be strong enough for you, right? So let's say you've got a property, it's making $10,000 a month. If you paid, $500,000 for that property, maybe that $10,000 a month works. But if you paid $3 million for the same property, that $10,000 a month no longer works because you're going to have too much of your expenses set up. So the way you do that, the way you analyze this, is you get all the income, you get all the expenses, and then you look at how you would buy it. How much money would you have to pay for it, and what would your debt be on it, right, for the price that they're asking. Once you get to that number, you get what you call your net operating income, which is going to be um, the total amount of income minus the expenses. But after you have your net operating income, you then want to go ahead and deduct your mortgage out of that. So what am I left with? And that's where you get to the cash flow at. So once you got the cash flow number, now you say, okay, is that good? Do I want to buy this property based off this cash flow? That is the first way of coming up if it's worth buying or not. The second way is say, okay, it operates like this right now, but now let's go ahead and look into the future, right? So what am I going to do with this property as an owner? So maybe it may not work on day one, but maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, I could change some things. So this where you come in and you look at those expenses, you say, well, maybe I can get some of these expenses lower, or maybe I could get some of this income up. So then you say, well, maybe these rents are low and I can increase the rents, or I'm going to do some sort of value add program, which is what we do: go in there, renovate the units, make it look better, so that tenants will want to pay more for a better product. So once you look into the future, even if the numbers don't look that great on day one by how the current seller is operating it, you also want to take into account your future operations to say, okay, maybe it's only making $10,000 a month right now, but after I come in and do some renovations, cut down on some expenses, now I could get that $10,000 a month up to $15,000 a month. And at $15,000 a month, this is a good deal, right? So you got two ways of evaluating how it operates currently and how you predict that it will operate in the future. And that's how you determine whether it's a good deal or not. You want to go ahead and look at what it is now and look at what you can do with it in the future and say, okay, can I live with that? Does the cash flow from those two numbers support what I'm doing right now? If the cash flow is not there, you don't have a deal. But if the cash flow is there, or you can reasonably implement a plan to get it there, now you know you've got a deal worth pursuing. Hopefully you found that helpful. If you have any questions about it, go ahead and drop a comment below. Give me a like. I'll try to keep coming out with these videos as long as it helps you. So take care, and I'll see you later.